Hi guys, and welcome back to Crypto Chester. I'm here today to give you a Bitcoin update. We're going to be going through Bitcoin here on the short-term time frame, touching on some very key scalping indicators as well. Then we're going to move through to the midterm. Then we're going to be looking for some swing indicators, and then we're going to be finishing off with the macro time frame for Bitcoin to see if we can get some sort of price prediction of where we think Bitcoin is going to be going over the next week or so. Without further ado, guys, let's get straight into the short-term time frame here for Bitcoin. And before I start, massive shout out to the CC gang in the Telegram. If you guys did want to join that, the link is going to be somewhere on the screen right about now. So without further ado, let's get straight into some price action, some technical analysis coming through here. As you can see, guys, chart is looking pretty goddamn messy. Okay, so let's get rid of the volume weighted ATR bands for a second so you guys can actually see the charts and we can breathe a little bit before we get deep down and dirty into this analysis. So as you can see, in terms of trend lines right now, in terms of resistance areas that we're looking for, it is going to be these key areas right here. You can see we've got this lovely trend line coming down like so. That is acting as, right now, potentially a level of support. We have seen major resistance off this continuously, and not to mention this disgusting volatile pump and dump scenario coming through there. But what I'm looking for right now is going to be a parallel resistance line off that trend, that downward sloping resistance line that we have currently got here, guys. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you do a simple copy and paste scenario, you do get a lovely parallel line, and that does line up pretty nicely with these areas of resistance just coming through here, guys. And this is an inclination that we're going to see pretty strong resistance at this zone here around 30,800, which, to be fair, over the next few hours is pretty likely indeed. The reason I'm saying that, guys, is because you can see this area is actually lining up with this pretty strong, pretty big parallel channel that we've got coming through here, this big giant blue thing. Okay, you can see the support on the lower side has been pretty strong, after this horrific bounce to the downside and then bouncing back up. And you can see on the top side the resistance has been pretty fair to say as well. Okay, so now we're actually in this sideways motion. We are looking for resistance at this area. If we don't get resistance, guys, which we could, I mean, we're on pretty nice uptrends at the moment here for Bitcoin, but if we don't get resistance here, then there's going to be a breakout scenario. Yes, there's an opportunity to make cold hard cash, some juicy gains. Okay, so in terms of a measure move of what we could be looking for here for Bitcoin, it is going to be something along the lines of this. I haven't included any of the other indicators at the moment, so this is still speculatively speaking, guys. So please don't just jump into a random trade if we get a breakout, because there's a lot of other factors that I do take into consideration before just randomly jumping into this, right? Just off this complete breakout chart pattern. The move itself is going to be worth around 3.27% to the upside, and as I said a second ago, there is many levels of resistance along the way up. Let's start with the volume-weighted ATR bands, okay, guys? The volume-weighted ATR bands are very crucial, guys. It's volume-weighted average true range. This essentially measures volatility and how volatile the markets are at this time. And this does it across multiple time frames. So let's just get rid of all the tier for a second, and let's have a look at the support and resistance that we do get off these bad boys. Right now, guys, we have been trending above the 4 hour. This is very crucial, okay? This is very crucial because we did actually lose it, and now we're kind of trying to gain it back in terms of support. If we don't gain it back, I would expect heavy resistance to the downside, okay, guys? And this is probably going to coincide with this parallel channel and with these descending resistance lines that we did just talk about here on the short-term time frame. So that's definitely something to be looking out for there. And also we've got the 30-minute and the 60-minute, just for reference for you guys of how reliable these are in terms of support and resistance. Let's go back in time quickly and just have a little look at let's just have a little look at how reliable these bad boys can be. You can see we always see an active point of support or resistance with these. So, for example, here, you've got very colluded, consolidating two volume-weighted ATR bands there, and you can see the support is very strong. Again here, very good stuff. You can see, I think that's the hourly there. Nice resistance coming through from there. And again, coming through along this, let's just see, is that? Yeah, the 30-minute there. So very crucial stuff. Now, it does form resistance, but if we do get above it, like you can see, if we can get above the 4 hour, for example, here, we actually trend above it and we test it really nicely. A move that I do like to do for the 4 hour is when we come above it and we smash above it, I like to trade the retest, guys. I really do, because the retest usually gives us a lovely big bounce to the upside in terms of support. If we can go back in history a second and see if we can get another example for this. You can see just major resistance continuously along these volume weighted ATR bands, and just completely ruined my chart. Great. What is going on? Right, okay. Yeah, so the 4 hour volume weighted ATR band, let's just have a look at that again. You can see coming down, guys, smashing that to the upside, coming down on that retest. Again, lovely retest coming through from here, and we see a lovely little micro uptrend coming through from there. So that's what I like to do for the 4 hour volume weighted ATR band. So let's just jump back and let's get on with this video, see if we can get some sort of price prediction of what we could be looking for. Okay, now I do just want to jump to the RSI with divergences, guys, because you can see we're currently up at around the 62.3, 60, moving as I'm talking, 60.8 area there, and that is obviously going to be getting closer to the overbought scenario, guys. So obviously we do see a little bit of price action to the downside, a little bit of a sell-off coming through, and if we are referencing the current chart patterns and the volume weighted ATR band for the 4 hour, we're likely to see a bit of a sell-off coming through. Is this going to be a bit of a chokehold in the MMA scenario? I don't know. Who knows whether we're going to see a breakout to the upside or we're going to see some micro downside. If we do see some micro downside, guys, I don't think it's going to be like insane. I don't think it's going to be insane, because we do have levels of support that we can be referencing. For example, the price action channel. And if we are going to be talking about moving averages, we're going to get to that on the 4 hour. You've got the 55 coming through at 30,100 there. So there's a couple of areas that I do want to reiterate that we are looking for support. So it's actually not too bad news coming through from there. Now, there was an RSI that I did want to look at. It might be on the other time frames. Yeah, let's just move through. Let's move through the time frames now, and let's look at the premium scalp package, guys. And well out to everyone who's taken these trades in the Telegram, guys. And if you are interested in that, there is a link to the website in the description. As you can see, we do go on the 0.4% take profits here, guys, and these are very nice juicy scalp positions. 0.4% and a 1.6% take profit system. So one take profit and 2 take profit, and then stop loss is simply. This is simply just above the price action channel. You can see this is a pretty successful system, guys. It's pretty good. I've been using this for years. I do really like it. And we are currently just waiting for a lovely scalp for the day. So that's something to be looking forward to. Hopefully it's going to be a nice move to the upside if we do see this breakout on the short-term time frame coming through as well. Now, moving through to the mid-term time frame, guys, very interesting stuff. I mean, it's been pretty bland recently, guys. We've seen a pretty flaccid price action, if you will, sideways action coming through in this range that we were just talking about on the short-term time frame. So if we are looking for an area for resistance, it is going to be sat around 31,355. This is the area everyone is watching right now. If we do see resistance coming down, we're likely to stay in this range, and that range is currently between 31,500 area, yeah, 31,400 and 29,800. I mean, we've been in here since June 20. The 21st of June. I just read June 23. We've been in here since 23rd of June. So it'd be nice to get out, right? It'd be nice to get out. Around 20 days we've been in this area. In terms of support that we could be looking for, guys, you can see we just spoke about this on the short-term time frame. These are the levels of support around 29,800. And in terms of moving averages, we haven't really seen any major moving averages crossing. But one thing I do want to say here, guys, is you can see how far apart these moving averages are. Look at the 55 to the 200 EMA and the 200 EMA to the 200 SMA. They're gradually getting further apart. What does this tell you? This tells you the further apart the moving averages, the stronger the trend to the upside or the downside. So at this point in time, we are experiencing a nice uptrend for Bitcoin, and we are smashing through and invalidating lower highs here on the macro. So this uptrend is looking pretty strong indeed, and the further apart these moving averages get, the better it's going to be for us. Okay. In terms of indicators right now, in terms of moving averages for support, we could be using the 55 as a bounce point. I mean, you can see we've bounced off this twice most recently at around 29,900 and also around 30,100. So if we are going to be looking for that zone, if we are going to be looking for the pullback off this area, then we could be using that 55 moving average as a very lovely level of support. In terms of the directional movement index, guys, this little bad boy indicator that I use to determine the trend and how strong and what direction we could be going in it's pretty boring, okay? It's pretty boring to say the least today. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that much good stuff coming through. And when I say good stuff, guys, I'm talking positive DMI and negative DMI crossovers, okay? Right here, we've got a nice negative crossover, but and here we've got a very positive crossover, but unfortunately the ADX, guys, the ADX is this little pink line coming through from here, and wherever this is on the spectrum, determines how strong the trend is going to be when we see these crossovers on the DMI. This is a free indicator, guys. You can go to your indicator section and search this directional movement index. Very, very valuable indicator there. So you can see the areas that we're looking for is 20 and 25. The ADX is currently below 20, so even if we do get a crossover, likely to see a positive crossover, the ADX is still really quite low, so the determination of the trend is still going to be pretty flaccid, pretty boring. So unfortunately, we can't really be using this indicator to our advantage at this time, okay? Hopefully we will see a bias come through later on. But right now, flaccid price action means flaccid directional movement index. Can't stop saying that word. Now, another thing I do want to talk about, this is the RSI that I was speaking about earlier in the micro. You can see we've got this very big high for the RSI on the midterm time frame here for Bitcoin, currently sat around 92.9. Now, if we look at that in reference to the price action, that is going to look something. Let me just move this up a little bit. It's going to look something along the lines of this. The area that we're looking for is going to be the 21st of June, and that is going to be sat around 30,700, which is pretty much exactly where we are right now. Now, if we look at that for a reference point for where we are in terms of the RSI, it's pretty goddamn low. Now, what does this tell you? This tells you that there is a potential for a bearish divergence to be coming through, guys. A bearish divergence to be coming through, and this essentially means a dirty deep sea dive into the 29,000 area for Bitcoin potentially, right? Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because if we don't break this 92.9 area on the RSI, there will be a bearish divergence. And as I said, that does mean price action to the downside. Now, if we are looking at areas for rejection right now, don't draw all over the screen, we're pretty much on the key point of rejection, okay? If we look back in history very quickly, you can see this area, 31,300, 32,300, pretty horrific rejection, okay? Even if it is a small move of around, I say a small move, around 9% to the downside there with that downtrend. If we see anything like that right now, guys, anything like that right now, we're going to be slamming right back down to the $29,000, $28,000 area. And hey, that's absolutely fine. The reasoning why I'm saying that's fine is because if you look at the higher lows right now, currently sat at around 24,900. That's going to be a high low that we need to hold in terms of support. Another high low around 19,700. So this uptrend itself is still really quite nice, and I'm not worried if we have any other pullbacks. I'm really not worried if we have pullbacks as long as we hold support at these areas, okay? As long as we hold support at these areas. Bringing me on to my current Bitcoin position. It's a very nice juicy long, and I am doing a 50% trailing stop loss on the Ultra Swing package. We know these indicators, guys, and shout out to the CC gang as well using these bad boys. You can see these indicators are primarily used to catch the really, really big swings. For example, you can see a 16% nice profitable trade there. Yes, we have, and these are like equity plays, right? These are one-to-one. These are not percentages for Bitcoin. They're percentages on the amount that you're going to be risking on your account, on your portfolio, okay? So this is a 16% gain on the portfolio. That is a that's a loss, right? So it's a 1% loss, 1% loss, 1% gain, 2% gain. So you can see it is a 1-to-1, 1-to-2, that sort of area until you actually catch a really nice juicy move like we're currently experiencing right now. Currently up at around 4% profit for this move. And if you did want a little bit of education on how to use this very quickly, you can see stop loss just below this little line here. As you can see across on multiple positions here. Stop loss just above there. Yes, losing trades there, but this is the moves that we are catching. Now, in terms of a trailing stop loss, guys, we're actually using whole numbers for this. So if you want a little example, yeah, let's do a little bit of education on a trailing stop loss very, very quickly for you guys that don't know what that is. So we do a 1-to-1 trade, okay? 1-to-1 trade. Then after that, we're going to be looking for whole numbers to be moving our stop loss to. So 1-to-1 trade, we hit our first take profit at 1%. We move our stop loss to our entry point. That means it's a risk-free position. We know we're not gonna lose money. Then when we hit that 2% mark, guys, where does that stop loss go? That stop loss goes up to the 1%. Okay, so that means we've essentially banked 1%. That's why it's a 50% trailing stop loss. Okay, so now currently where we're at, got to 3%. So now where are we going to be looking at putting our stop loss? 1.5%. Correct. Now all the way up, currently sat at around, we got to the whole number of 4%. I like to do whole numbers, makes it easier. And we're looking for a stop loss of around 2%. Stop loss is around 2% right now. So we know we've already banked 2% in the bag. So Bitcoin can do whatever the hell it wants. I know I've made 2% on that portfolio position. Very, very good stuff indeed. So that's sort of what I'm looking for right now for the ultra swing package. Ideally, a massive moonshot, and we can basically keep this position going like that juicy one back there that made us around 16%. Absolutely insane in terms of money. And just another reminder, guys, that was a trailing stop loss, but when we have another trade come through this in the opposite direction, we usually close positions because it usually means that we're going to go the other way, right? It's a sell signal. So yeah, that's kind of why we do that, just to bank as much money as physically possible, right? And if we didn't, we'd have probably seen a take profit of around, it would have come down to trailing stop loss around this sort of area here. So yeah, pretty good stuff why we did that. Now, moving on to the macro time frame here for Bitcoin, going to be jumping through to the daily because this is where it gets interesting. Okay, now the reason why I'm saying this is because you can see all-time high for Bitcoin currently sat around 69,000, that sort of area. You can see the massive, disgusting, filthy trend line all the way coming down from. So we have tapped on that once already. Okay, we've tapped on that once already, found that resistance multiple times. Now what do we see just here, guys? What do we see? We saw on the 20th of June, that sort of area, a humongous break in the price for Bitcoin. This actually broke that level of resistance from the all-time high trend line. That is significantly positive for Bitcoin. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, guys, is because that's one thing to show us that we're looking for the upside. The second thing that I really want is to clear this dirty, filthy gray box zone, okay, because we can see the resistance we've had off this before. It's been pretty horrible, and over the last 10, 20 days or so, we've been sat in this area, in this range that I was talking about at the start of this video, and it would be really nice to see a break to the upside. It really would, but please be careful, because what do you see here? 0.5%, 0.5 Fibonacci retracement line. We know the 0.5, guys. If we cross the 0.5 in terms of the Fibonacci retracement, in terms of the Fibonacci lines, it usually means a trend reversal. Okay, it's the confirmation for the trend reversal. Now, currently on the macro, horrific, dirty, disgusting bear market, okay? The Fibonacci retracement that we're looking for here is currently sat at around 32,600. If we can clear 32,600 with support to the upside, it's essentially confirmation from the Fibonacci gods that this uptrend is going to be valid and is going to continue, okay? Oh, bull market, come on, baby, let's effing go. Very good stuff, very positive there for that. But in terms of what we need to be looking for is going to be this Fibonacci around 32,600, the 0.5 area. I mean, before that, I would expect some sort of pullback, just naturally, because you can see this is quite steep, this uptrend, and we have seen a significant pump recently. And you know what we say, guys? We've said this many times on this channel, many times. When you're climbing Mount Everest, where's my pen? There it is. When you're climbing Mount Everest in a parabolic motion, you got to get to base camp 1. You need to rest at base camp 1. Otherwise, you're going to run out of oxygen, you're going to run out of food, and you're going to die in terms of price action. Parabolic motions are not healthy unless you have a base camp 1 to rest yourself, and then we see another move to the upside. So what are we seeing right now? We're seeing a lovely base camp 1. So hopefully we can see a lovely break in the price, smashing through this Fibonacci retracement as well, and holding that level of support of 32,000. If we see that, goddamn, get in your lungs, long to the goddamn moon, bull run, here we come. No, I'm only joking, I'm not a financial advisor. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking for here for the macro timeframes here for Bitcoin. And hey, if we do pull back, as I said a second ago, in these key higher low areas, guys, 25,000, 19,000, those areas are really crucial for us to hold up. And if we don't, then God help us all. No, then I'm sure that we will see some bounce off some Fibonacci areas around 0.236 or the 0.382. Probably will hit the 0.382 and retest this trend line from the all-time high. I really wouldn't be surprised if we did see rejection from the 0.5 coming down, testing this 0.382, and then continuing this run up and setting another juicy, crucial higher low for this uptrend to continue. That's going to be it from me, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And remember, trade safe out there because it is a volatile world in the crypto space. But that's going to be it from me. I will see you in the next one. Peace.